Okie dokie. Hello, Wade here. I'm here to pitch to you today my animation called Altogether. So, Altogether is its working title right now. The basic log line or the one-liner is Lance is on an adventure with his friends, but when the stakes rise, he's never able to rely on them. They run, they hide, and sometimes they even just ignore the danger on him. It's going to be a 2D animated short. I want the genre to be like a fantasy adventure, but I want to add in a psychological thriller to the idea so that it reveals itself at the end more so rather than is smack bang on the face. I'm a psychological thriller, so it should be like a fun kind of discovery thing within those 3 minutes. So the synopsis is on the screen. Lance is a daring, courageous, and hot-headed adventurer who found himself lost and exhausted after claiming he fled from a horde of goblins. He's aggressively turning a map in every direction, furiously trying to figure out where he's headed, whilst also trying to berate his friends, Alex and Rhea, who abandoned him when the goblins started to swarm. The group montage their way through various terrain, following a set of footsteps that match Lance's boot print. Whenever enemies appear, Lance dispatches it, whilst Rhea hides and Alex taunts or defends. Eventually they set foot into a campsite for the night, where Lance huddles up to the fire complaining about how he does everything for the group. His friends ignore him and just brush the complaint off to the side. And then when Lance wakes up, he sees their two bodies decaying on the floor. He looks around in horror trying to figure out what the deal is and discovers a trail of blood atop some footsteps that he's been following for days. Following this trail, he finds a cave whose walls are tally marked. In the middle, he reads aloud, "They're not real anymore." The wall is covered in Alex and Rhea's names, as well as ramblings about them being gone. Lance looks at the wall in horror, and above the tally mark is a few words, "Times I've forgotten." He attempts to hold his composure as he scratches another mark onto the wall and then turns to leave the cave. His face suddenly relaxes and he runs out. The screen fades to black as he ends up where the shot began, complaining, "I can't believe you two left me alone in there." Lance follows the footsteps on the ground, his boot fitting perfectly inside. So here's the mood board initialization. I've got a lot of different things from Netflix, I realized afterwards. So I've got Castlevania. I've got some Dota Dragon's Blood as the environmental thing. I like the big fantasy things. I liked the scratchy kind of style in which you can put a lot of character emotion that Castlevania did. And I've got some inspiration on the cave and the situation that I want Lance to, the setting that I want Lance to be in when he like breaks apart. That's that page. So moving forth, the mood board for the animation style. Once again, Netflix. So we've got Castlevania. We've got some more Dota Dragon's Blood. I like the fight scenes in Castlevania. They're really fluidly animated. I kind of want that to kind of be within like the montage and the fights because it just looks really epic. It's beautiful to watch. I really like the juxtaposition of this really gorgeous scenery and settings, but then throw in like blood and gore and just be really confronting. The character final look is there, as you can see. And as I said, certain landmarks I want to have a much higher quality. The story is kind of inspired a bit by like Westworld kind of thing, where it's just a constant loop of horrific circumstances that they don't realize they're in. But moving forth, I've got character concepts, so just briefing over it. We've got Lance on the left, Alex and Rhea on the right. The idea is for Lance to constantly look exhausted, 24/7, as if he just doesn't sleep, because realistically the man probably doesn't. I want to kind of build in the character motifs of Alex and Rhea with Rhea has like this little buckle on her strap and Alex has this beautiful like red cloak. I kind of want Lance to wear that red cloak and that little buckle together to kind of symbolize that he's wearing parts of them almost as like a hint to the audience that this is yet another thing to go wrong. Alex and Ray are also meant to be like lifeless looking 24/7 as well, just to kind of be, even when they're laughing and whatnot, they don't have emotion. They're not real. Now we've got the storyboards. We've got on the left the group wandering aimlessly, and you can see that Lance is the only one leaving footsteps. I like that. I like the big, once again, fantasy thing. Subtle hints to the audience really is the idea. So hence just the lone footsteps, kind of build it in so the audience feels like an investigator. And then we've got Lance breaking apart in the cave, and I've kind of got him there, like really scratchy, like the blood trailing in. I just want it to be claustrophobic and awful looking, even though the cave's meant to be big. I just want it to be like really like almost like fish-eyed in a way, to make it kind of seem like maybe the opposite of fish-eyed. Just make it look like it's really claustrophobic and horrible. And then this kind of style here with this is moments before the end of the animation, before Lance loops and before he just relaxes and goes back to norm. So the idea behind that is that it's really scratchy, and that was intentional. I want the animation style to look like it's falling apart because Lance's reality is falling apart, and this is just focusing in on him. So moments before the loop is that part there. I don't have many other drawings, so unfortunately that is the end of my presentation, but I would like to pitch Altogether. Thank you.